Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Software Engineering. I'm Zhang Shuang from Software College, Northeastern University. This lecture, we are going to discuss the difference between software engineering and computer science. So far, we know that at least there are two majors. Okay, one is software engineering and another is computer science in some college. Okay. And also there are these two different research areas, right? So maybe you are thinking about the difference between them. Before we discuss the difference between software engineering and computer science, we'd better take analogy with chemical engineering and chemistry. All of us have learned chemistry in our middle school and high school, and we understand that it's a science. Well, chemical engineering is different. Okay? That means chemical engineering will be interested in only the cost-effective way to manufacture chemical products. So that means chemists and chemical engineering are interested in different things. Okay, it's just the same between software engineering and computer science. A computer scientist investigates a variety of ways to produce software, some good and some bad. He just tries to find out as many ways as possible. Okay? Well, the software engineering is interested in only those techniques that make sound economic sense. So that means the way that can make the most money. So you can see the difference between science and engineering, right? Yeah. Okay, let's take another example. Okay. Let's say there are two coding techniques. One is old coding technique, another is new coding technique. The new coding technique will result in only 9/10 of the time needed by old coding technique. That means with the new coding technique, it will take as the 9/10 the cost of the coding technique. That means the development team will save 10% of the cost and the time. Well, the things that we are supposed to discuss about this case is that should you adopt the new coding technique if you are the manager of the software organization? Okay, maybe some students will say yes, maybe some will say no. Okay. Well, the answer is that it depends. Okay. Well, let's discuss it. Surely, the software organization, the developers in the software organization are very experienced with the old coding technique. Well, if the new coding technique are supposed to be adopted, okay, that means the organization will spend some cost and time to train their developers. Okay. And if the developers are supposed to develop with the new coding technique, all of them are new ones. Okay. So that means they are not experienced with the new coding technique, and the products that they achieved will not be as reliable as the ones that they achieved with the old coding technique. And maybe you will say that the organization do need to train their developers. Maybe they should hire some new developers who can master the new coding technique. Okay? Well, maybe it's another idea, but have you thought about the salary for the developers with new coding technique? Okay. Because normally, developers, the software person who master new coding technique will earn more salary than the one who mastered the old technique. So that means the new staff will have a higher salary than the old staff, and surely the old staff won't be happy. And then maybe this will cause some new problems. Well, okay, so, and we should never forget about software lifecycle phases. We must understand that coding is just one of the phases that a software will go through. So this 10% saving will be just a part of the whole software life cycle phases. So that means it won't be so sound as you thought, as you expected, right? Yeah, okay, so in a word, new coding technique maybe will mean a big risk for the software organization. Well, on the other hand, okay, if the software organization still use the old technique, well, the developers are experienced with it and the product that they develop will be more reliable. Yes, this is the advantages. Okay. But we should never forget that the software are developing so fast nowadays. Okay. So that means if you don't adopt the new coding technique, and maybe just a few months later, the new coding technique will become very popular. And your software organization cannot take up with the development of the software development technique. So that means your software teams, your software organization will fall behind. Okay? So that means it will be another big problem, a big issue for the software organization. Right? Yeah. Okay, so this is the discussion for this case. Well, this case just tell us how to think about software technique. It's not just a science, it's not experiments. That means it's just some practical engineering. We must try to find the ways practical and useful and cost-effective for both the development organization and the clients. So from this point, you are supposed to understand the difference between software engineering and the computer science. Okay, so much for this point.